Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Hunter Shelburne from Steve Jackson Games, looking at Triplanetary.
Yes.
Third edition.
Somewhere in there. It's
somewhere.
Second or third. So there's been one in a cardboard tube. We'll call that first edition.
Okay. This is not a new game, I guess I should say.
No, Triplanetary's had an interesting history. So it came out in the 70s. If you've seen any of our stuff on it, if you haven't, it came out in like the 70s in that cardboard tube. Old school, really old school game.
Right.
And Steve loved it. It was one of Steve's favorite games. I believe it was 73, somewhere in that range. And when Steve Jackson likes a game, it tends to be a pretty good game. Like he really latched onto it. And when it went out of print, it was out of print for pretty much most of the 80s after the second edition. And we promised to remake it in 1990. I still have the article that I put to. He's like, we got the rights for bringing it back to print, and the next year is when the Secret Service trashed the offices. So we then had some other priorities, and they kind of waited until now. But we did a Kickstarter for it. It was really successful, and we brought it back as you see it here. We've kind of made a few modifications. It's not in a tube anymore, unfortunately. I know people are big into tube storage nowadays, so that's a problem. But we did give it dry erase boards. It still has a lot of the graphics. Like these, he showed me the original maps, and we made the colors pop out a little bit. But this looks like a retro game.
Yes.
Just with a little bit more information on the counters, a little bit more at your fingertips. Essentially, the crux of the game, you have these mini tokens here. You got a bunch of different ships, different forms and types. You don't have to play with all of them. There's a lot of different scenarios in the game. So you might play with different colors. There might be a race. You might be trying to do different objectives, like delivering cargo or something like that. And you've got maps. There's actually only one of the map boards. There's two map boards. They do go together if you want.
Yeah, we got a small part of a hexagon up here.
And you've got these. It is our solar system, so it's fantasy sci-fi in our solar system. So you're using these grids as essentially your trajectory. You start off with dots on the board, and you are going in a direction. And the cool thing about this game is you have limited amount of fuel, and every time you move in a certain direction as it's space, you're using an amount of fuel, like a fuel point. But since it's also space, now that you've used that fuel, you're going to keep going after that next turn at that speed. But if you want to increase your speed, if you want to change directions, anything like that, you're spending fuel points to maybe you would go, like your next spot, if you did nothing else, if you just keep going, would be to land here.
Right.
But if I want to say I want to spend a fuel point, I can go here. You can kind of go in a little bit
using
of
momentum that you already have.
Exactly. So it's a game of using your resources. It's a resource management game, using that fuel to get around the solar system. Depending on the objective, you can be delivering to different planets. You could be fighting pirates, you're delivering cargo. Someone else's planet is a pirate trying to attack you. You could just be racing. One of the most popular scenarios is just set up your ships, do a race around the solar system, make some objectives. It's a pretty open-ended game in that regard. The system, the main draw is going to be that movement system and actually using gravity of the planets. And there's actually different types of gravity depending on the planet itself, the size of the planet, if it's a moon or not. So it might have a delayed effect on your movement. It might have a direct effect on that. So you want to get that circumference and kind of start.
I was wondering if you could slingshot yourself.
Slingshot around and save your fuel. I did a demo with Steve when we first learned this game. He came in. When Steve's excited about a game, he will come in and hand demo. It's a very interesting experience getting a demo with someone who knows games that well. And he's teaching the game. I'm like, I got this. I'm a guy who I'm good at games. I'm solid, and I just ran out of fuel immediately. I got to here, and I'm like, and the thing is, when you're out of fuel, you're not dead. You're just coasting.
That's your turn.
I was just going whoa
that's
across
right.
the solar system. But yeah, so it's really hasn't been changed all that often.
It's like instead of the Voyager,
yes, you're just
going out beyond the solar system. It's the Hunter.
It's the Hunter. Hunter 1, I believe that one was. I'm on Hunter 2 now. We're gonna try to keep the fuel and stay alive.
Good.
But yeah, the game hasn't changed that much since the original issue. We like to update the graphics. The game itself though was way ahead of its time as far as the gameplay is concerned. It's a simple system, but it's got a clean feel to it where you get to. That resource management feels nice.
Okay, which is then applied with the scenario.
Exactly, whatever scenario you're doing, and you might use one or both boards. You might choose certain sections, and these zones will matter depending on the scenario as well. They're just on there for kind of show right now, but different scenarios are used for different things.
Okay,
so yeah,
there we go. Old school look too.
Yeah, we tried to keep it old school. Like I said, we couldn't throw it in a tube, but got close.
That's right. But it's kind of the market is so huge as well. This does stand out in terms of being like hey,
it's different. It's
remember
interesting.
it.
Yeah, and it'll be hitting stores really shortly. It just hit backers' hands, so we're really excited about that one. And it fits alongside our other kind of retro games that are still in print, like Ogre and Star Wars, things like that. So
That's right.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Hunter.
Thank you.
Overview of Triplanetary. Classic game. You can see the other board on the back here.